The idea of flight has been man's greatest achievement. We have soared to the heavens because we see birds flying and we're like, you know what? We're going to do that one day. About a little bit more than 100 years ago, we did, and we conquered it. Well, kind of. Flying isn't perfect. Flying isn't something that's super easy, and there's been lots of mistakes, but it gets you from point A to point B. And in my time, I've only been on a plane 7, 8 times in my whole entire life. I didn't do it when I was young. I didn't travel on a plane when I was in my 20s or early 30s. The finally I jumped on a plane, and I went to Japan. I went to Japan a few times, and I've always been on the 767. 767s are huge planes now compared to other planes, but I've never been on a small plane. And this is a story where the first time I went on I guess you would call it an Airbus. I was on my way to LA for a convention, for my friend's convention called PowerCon. Great convention. You guys should really check it out when conventions get to be normal again. And I've never been on a small plane, and I didn't get to fly with my wife. This is the first and only time I've been on a plane without my wife. So my friends Shaq and Billy come with me, and they've flown all over. These guys are professionals. They've done it a lot. I have not. So we get to the plane, and we're about ready to board, and then you walk into the plane. I look to my right, and there's 3 seats. I look to my left, there's 3 seats, and that's it. And I looked at Shaq, and I said, where the hell is the rest of the plane? And he starts laughing, and he's like, oh, wait a second. You've never been on an Airbus before. You've never been on a small plane before. I'm like, no kidding. I've only been on 767s. I've never been on a small plane. When you talk about these planes being small, these seats are small. I don't get the point of first class from economy or no class or whatever you want to call it, because seriously, it's just a separation of glass from some more seats. It doesn't look that much more comfortable. It's kind of freaky to get on this plane. And then, of course, our seats are in the very last row. We have no reclining ability. There's a wall behind us, and we have our 3 seats together. And Shaq, being a great friend, looks me in the face and goes, you know what? Rob, here's what I'm going to do for you. I'll sit in the middle because you're a taller dude. Having that aisle seat will give you a little bit more room to stretch out. And I'm like, you know what? These are good friends, man. These are good people, good friends. They're looking out for my well-being, especially my first time traveling without my wife on a small, tiny commercial plane. And I've come to realize that my friends are a bunch of jerks, and they knew what was going to happen, and I think they think this is funny. So I sit down. Of course, there's no room for your knees, but that's cool. About 2 seconds before we start flying, I realized, oh crap, we're literally right next door to the bathroom. So constantly people are coming up down the aisleway, banging into me to go use the bathroom, banging into me, banging. My arm was getting numb. I felt like I've been punched in my arm like 20 times. But it's okay. Hey, it's only a 6-hour flight. We take off, and I hear like a weird little noise. I look to my right, and I see a dog sitting with its owner and his owners. They took up 3 seats, and they paid for the extra seat for their dog to sit there. Now, I don't know if he's one of those travel companion, emotional support animals, or if he was just lucky enough to get a seat. Well, sure enough, the stewardess comes flying over, turns her backside to me, leans over, and starts to talk to the puppy dog. And she is enamored with this puppy dog. He was a good doggy. She's losing her mind. Meanwhile, she is sitting on my shoulder. Her posterior is on my shoulder. I'm not a seat. But then again, where could I move? Like when you're on a New York City subway and someone goes to fall asleep on you, you kind of like nudge yourself out of the way. Well, I couldn't nudge because I was shoulder to shoulder with Shaq and Billy. There was literally no room and nowhere for me to go to not have this lady's backside sitting on me. And how didn't she know that she was sitting on my shoulder? That's the part that I don't get. And it's one of those things where you're like, my God, get off me, lady. All right, finally she gets off of me from sitting on me. Then she comes walking by with the cart to give you like snacks and beverages, bangs into my elbow. This is becoming an absolute horror for me. So finally, I'm like, you know what? Let me just tune out. My wife, my loving wife, packed me a tablet with a couple movies that should really get me to LA with no time flat. I could just drown out. I could just drown myself out with the sounds of a funny movie. I think she packed me movies like Caddyshack and Akira and some random stuff. Just stuff for me to watch. I go to start watch stuff, and Shaq looks at my tablet and goes, "Oh wow, you got Caddyshack?" And I'm like, "Yeah. You want to watch it?" He's like, "Yeah." Now my wife had packed me a wire that had multiple headphone jacks, and he just goes, takes the tablet, plugs it in, and goes to watch the movie. And I'm sitting there going, "Oh, okay. Well, this is a thing." And I just like, all right. I put my headphones into my phone and said, "You know what? Drown out to the sounds of music to get me to LA." At the end of the day, I got there. I learned a lot about flying on a small plane. So on my way back, it was a little easier, a little less nerve-wracking, and I've done it ever since. When the world opens up, guys, depending on when you're watching this video, when the world opens up, if the world's opened up, how has it been traveling? I'm curious to see if anything crazy happened other than bad stuff. I want to see if you guys had any personal irritations when it comes to flying. That's my kind of pet peeves, and more the little nuances and not realizing, like, wow, planes are smaller than you realize, and I don't like it. All right, guys, let me know what you think. Leave us a comment, hit subscribe and like, and until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Stay safe.